I would have to say that another big one that I see people trying to do Kickstarters, and it's like that's not going to work, is that they don't have any skin in the game when the Kickstarter starts. So it's basically like, yeah, give me a lot of money and maybe I'll do a thing. And it's like, that's not what Kickstarter's for. Yeah. Kickstarter is for like, I made a prototype and I got this far, but in order to take it into production, I need like 40 grand to like have a million of them made or something, for a lot lower cost per unit than these prototypes. These prototypes are very expensive per unit. But if enough people buy in advance, then I can have the big leap. All of
forms and molds or whatever it is made where I can go into production with a gizmo.
Yes.
Right.
Which traditionally we would go to a bank. And so remember the words of Uncle Paul. Every time a Kickstarter is funded, a banker gets a kick in the nuts.
I think I would agree with that because you're on the hook for product or service to your backers versus, 7.5% interest compounded annually over 3 years to a banker who honestly doesn't care if you fail as long as there's enough collateral to cover the loan. Who, by the way, printed the money on your promise to pay it. That's something like we might get people listening to this that don't listen to my shows on finance and economics and things like that. But when you go to a bank and you say, and Paul goes to the bank and says, I want to do this thing for world domination, the banker's like, I don't care. Show me a financial statement, right? So they go to the financial statement and they go, if I repossess Wheaton Labs in the mountaintop estate, there's hundreds of thousands of dollars in real value there. So I'll give you $100 grand. Now, what people think happens is the banker, he writes a check and hands it to Paul, but metaphorically, they go into a drawer and they take out stacks of hundreds signified by, and they give you money. They don't give you any money. The bank takes no money out of their deposits. They use their deposits as a reserve to issue a check against nothing, which literally creates $100,000 in new money. It is not just the government that prints money. And if there's anybody out there that's thinking, I don't know who this dude is, I'm listening to this podcast because Paul Wheaton said he's cool. He's clearly lost his effing mind. He has no idea what he's talking about. I want you to go to Google and I want you to search for the term modern money mechanics, St. Louis Federal Reserve. And from the Federal Reserve itself, you will find in that document, it's only a few pages, this is exactly how loans work in a fractional reserve system. And they said, if not, no new money would be created. So you are literally taking away from the banker not just the ability to earn interest, but to print money with you as human collateral on your promise to repay money that never even existed until you promised to pay it back.